annoyed at Holly Rowe for the clip where she asked Olivia Miles in the middle of the Lynx Fever game what it's like to play against Caitlin Clark. And Olivia responds that actually it's Kelsey Mitchell who's giving them the business.
This is the first time we've seen you and Caitlin Clark go at each other. And I know it's not just about you, but what is this like for you as a competitor?
It's so fun playing with great guards. Kelsey Mitchell is really the one that's killing us right now. I'm just kind of in awe watching her. Like, this is low-key my welcome to the W moment, just trying to guard her. But it's so fun, We have respect for each other, so it's fun.
And that clip has been played and shared on social media ad nauseum because people were pissed. So many people were pissed. They were saying that the question was inappropriate and just further proof that Caitlin Clark is essentially an industry plant, someone who the WNBA is forcing to be the face of the league, even if there are other players who are more worthy or valuable, or dare I say it, perhaps the word is dynamic or interesting or inviting than she is. So in case you don't know, Caitlin Clark is in her third year of the WNBA. She was the number one draft pick out of Iowa. And she was drafted to the Indiana Fever. And she's a point guard. Obviously, she plays at the number one position, the floor general. And she's known for these sort of Happy Gilmore-esque three-pointers from the logo of the basketball court. But she also has this penchant for throwing tantrums during basketball games and cursing out the referees when they don't call things the way that she likes. But the thing I think perhaps she's most known for these days is rabid, MAGA, openly racist, sexist fan base that seems to primarily be made up of men in their 40s. So if you go to Threads or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram and you interact with a post about her, these people will be in every comment section saying, she's the GOAT, she's made the league what it is, she's just hated because people don't like her because she's straight and she's white. It doesn't matter what it is. If someone else is getting an honor, if someone else is being uplifted, if someone else makes a record, someone in the comments will be saying, well, Caitlin Clark could have had this record if she wasn't being treated unfairly by the league. So she's an eternal, perpetual victim in the eyes of her followers. And yes, of course, in 2026, it is okay to be anti-Black and anti-queer because the pinnacle of power in our society is setting the tone, right? And we know that if the Trump, regime had their way, they would round up every single Black and queer person. And Clark's fans, or her most vocal and vicious, rancorous fans, they're very pro-hate type people. So there's this big overlap between MAGA and Caitlin Clark's fans. And that's why she's gotten a lot of, let's say, unkind nicknames in reference to her being adored by conservatives and seen as a victim. A bunch of conservative Republicans even wrote an open letter to the WNBA stating that if the WNBA didn't stop people from fouling Caitlin Clark, they were going to open up an investigation or something ridiculous like that. So here's what's funny about that. With a few exceptions, she's basically completely apolitical. She recently met President Obama. He stopped by the WNBA All-Star Game and said hi to them and gave a little speech about how great they are and all the work that they're doing, how proud he is. And then he individually went around saying hi to the players. And of course, he recognized Caitlin. And you could tell in the video that she was very happy to be him. And she said after that she got really nervous, even though she never gets nervous, meeting people. And it was a huge honor for her. She also liked a couple of Kamala Harris 2024 posts. So it doesn't actually surprise me that she politically leans to the liberal side. I don't actually believe that she's right wing. It wouldn't surprise me if her family was. She's from Iowa, the suburbs of Iowa. But, that doesn't surprise me, to be honest. She comes across like someone who's intelligent enough to be liberal. But here's the problem that that most of us have with Caitlin Clark, if we're not accusing her of being a closet conservative, is that she's silent as her team, her reps, her agents, her family, her friends, and of course herself. They're completely silent as her fans harass, dox, and spew bigotry and hatred toward people online, especially Black and brown people, especially Black women. She says nothing. She's broken all these records. She was the Rookie of the Year. She's definitely a fan favorite. She has the highest selling jersey in the league, although her peers rate her as being very far from the best because there's a poll every year. And, you know, from the stance of capital, she's perfect. There's no note. But this video isn't about her cowardice or her lack of conviction. It's about that clip with Holly Rowe and Olivia Miles, number 2 draft pick of the Minnesota Lynx, who has been dominating since she started playing professional basketball just a couple of months ago. She's been turning heads and getting all these nods and accolades. She's been getting a lot of respect from athletes, entertainers, influencers, vets, MNBA people. There's this overwhelming consensus that she is that girl. She's a generational player. She's going to change the game. And she should definitely be Rookie of the Year. It's undeniable. And she could even be in the MVP conversation. That's what they're saying. And so, I'm not going to run all of the stats, but Olivia has broken some of the records that Caitlin set in her rookie year or since then. And so she's also performed these like Magic Johnson-esque layups and passes that you have to keep kind of rewinding to see because it's so quick and it is so decisive and completely entrancing to watch someone at that level of athleticism and sophistication. And so I'm not going to run the stats. You should definitely do some research and check her out for yourself. I love the nickname for Olivia for her because she's known for wearing her signature afro and her spectacles. So that's why she's called the spectacle. So here's the thing. Now that I've given you all that context, I disagree with the furor and the fervor that was surrounding Holly Rowe's question to Olivia Miles.
This is the first time we've seen you and Caitlin Clark go at each other. And I know it's not just about you, but what is this like for you as a competitor?
It's so fun playing with great guards. Kelsey Mitchell's really the one that's killing us right now. I'm just kind of in awe watching her. Like, this is low-key my welcome to the W moment, just trying to guard her. But it's so fun, We have respect for each other, so it's fun.
I'm glad she asked that question. She wanted Olivia to give her this easy soundbite that all of those in-game interviews are really designed to do, just to create some fodder for announcers and sportscasters to talk about. They're not meant to be, anything too deep, but something that they can play and replay for clicks online and during live broadcasts. But unfortunately, Caitlin Clark has this outsized influence on the conversation. That's the fact of the matter. You can't mention the WNBA without mentioning Caitlin Clark, either as this harbinger of the death of a legacy of Black queer women, building up and pushing forward the league into these incredible contracts that are not even close in iota of what they actually deserve, in my humble opinion. If a team is valued at $1 billion, the Golden State Valkyries, the max contract should be far more than $3 million. And so she's seen as either this harbinger of doom or the ascendancy of women in sports and the possibility and the pinnacle of it. So it's very polar opposite perspective, which is fascinating to me. And, if you're a point guard in the league, you're going to go toe to toe with Clark. And they were playing Indiana, and Caitlin Clark, for better or for worse, is the number one point guard on that team, even if there's a lot of debates about whether she should be, right? People say Kelsey Mitchell should be. But anyway, this was a highly anticipated game because it was Olivia Miles and Caitlin Clark playing against one another for the first time. So you have this upstart who's seen as now the future of the league meeting the person who until May of 2026 was touted as the future of the league. It makes sense that you want to ask the question of how is it going facing off against this person? Well, for the record, the Lynx did win. That's Olivia Miles' team. And Miles absolutely met the moment. There was a few plays that she made that were pretty astonishing. Her answer was that the often overlooked Kelsey Mitchell is actually the force of the team who's hard to contain. She was saying that she asked her, like, what do you eat? And there's a clip because she was mic'd up, which is his own conversation, but she's mic'd up during the game. So they can take clips and play them later. And she was like, they're like on the court and she, they're waiting for something and they're both like panting because they're so tired. And we was like, damn, you're so tough. She's exhorting Kelsey on the floor with how great she thinks that she plays. And Kelsey's like, back at you, and they had this really beautiful, honestly, those really beautiful moments. Maybe it's the friendship NBA, the FN NBA. I'm pro the FN NBA for the record. It's just a reminder that the dominant perspective, or people like to say the propaganda, they're going to cleave to a narrative that's going to deliver clicks and views because they keep their eye on the ball. So to them, Caitlin Clark is the ball. She is their crown jewel. She's the centerpiece. She's the focal point because for better or for worse, and they like the worst, they love the worst, the executives, because that's going to drive even more interest. People will watch clips and watch conversations because they want to understand what's happening. And so she's going to grab that attention. But Olivia's response was amazing, which is why I loved it. And I'm glad she asked the question. We need questions that reveal the intention and short-sightedness of the producers and the executives who are just scrabbling for one more viral moment. There's this common colloquialism in the league. Players are described by themselves and other people as pieces, which I kind of winked at, but it's very common to refer, for example, to say, Olivia has been a great piece for our team. We acquire pieces. It all feels a little bit, or commodified. So in that vein, I just want to remind everyone that, Black women, Olivia Miles showed this. She elucidated this in her response. Black women are not pawns. Okay. We lead the way. We move the culture forward. I have said this for a decade. Many people have said it, but I will repeat it until the day that I die. The culture moves forward on the cultural products, whether it's a TikTok dance, a song, a phrase, a reality TV show moment, or in basketball. We move the culture forward. Whatever it is, the attention, we take it, we work it, we flip it and reverse it. Okay. So keep asking those questions that elucidate the league and ESPN and the producers and all of the people who run the show. So keep asking those questions, Miss Rowe, who's a very highly respected journalist. So I'm not even I have nothing to say negatively about Holly Rowe, actually. I want to thank her for allowing Black women to show you or show her what it means to actually shift the culture, because now all of the attention is on Olivia Miles.